Let me know if I am in good old 1080p now. And I will put this up in 12-point font again. How are we looking? You feel brain, hello! Welcome to the chat. This is good. If this will work, then we can begin. Alright. So, basically, what I want to do today is I want to make one particular feature. So, ooh, I don't like that. Let me bring this up over here. So basically, in 4coder, I have this sort of project system where you make a text file called project.4coder in whatever directory your code exists, and you fill it out with stuff like this. And I'm not sure why I didn't keep to my normal syntax rules there, but point is, and this is going to expand in the future. I don't like the extensions thing in particular. It's not quite full feature enough, but ignoring that for now, we're not going to extend the project system today. What I get frustrated with is whenever I sit down to do a small project, I make a new folder, and I have to put in like a main.cpp and a build.bat or a build.sh, and then I have to put in a project.4coder. It just takes so long to get everything in there. So what I want to do is make a command that makes project setup almost instant. Okay. So in particular, the full version of this would create a folder and fill that folder up with a project.4coder, a build script, and like a C++ file or something. But I don't have in 4coder the ability to make directories programmatically yet. It's going to come in an update sometime this month. The ability to delete, rename, and delete and rename files, move them around, and copy them and make directories all programmatically is going to come, but I don't have it yet, and I don't think I really want to go that far just yet. We can get by with just getting the part that does the build script and the project.4coder for today. And that's what the goal is, right? So if I break this down into little pieces, we want to make a build.bat/build.sh, make a project.4coder, and that will be it. That's all I'm planning to do for now. So it'll be a short stream, but this is the first thing in my list of acceleration things that I already know I want for 4coder, and who knows, maybe no one else but me is even using project.4coder, but it will help me out a lot. Save me like 10 minutes of annoyance every time I start a project. Maybe 5. And by project I mean small little experimental code somewhere. Okay. So, first question is, where should I put this? And I feel like I already have a project commands file. So let's take a look at what's in here. Oops, not Alt-I, what is it? Alt-J? No. Control-I? No. Control-J? No. What is this? There it is. Right, so I don't like the way that worked, but there we go. I'll have to fix that. That's a little lame. So we have interpret escaped string. I should write that on a little note here. function list opens in wrong view. I don't use that command as often as I should. It's useful sometimes. Okay. Especially when you're browsing code you haven't looked at for a while. I like to be able to list all the functions in a file. So here we go. Interpret an escaped string. That is for when you have like a string in a text file with backslashes in it that you want to turn those backslashes into actual escape things. So slash n becomes a new line character and stuff like that. Close all files with extension. So this is a helper that commands are built on for closing all files. Open all files with extension. Okay, so this is stuff for opening and closing files in batches. This is a command for opening all code recursive. You Feel Brain says you should consider doing something that shows the comment above the function. That's not a bad idea. I wouldn't put it in this one. This one is just a jump list, but I could maybe, I'll have to think about the best way to do that. Maybe I would. Because, I mean, the jump list just has to have this on it, really. So maybe I could make a verbose jump list that has each of these jumps, and then like a new line and the several lines of comments that are potentially there, followed by the line of the declaration or definition of the function. Open all code recursive, close all code. I'll make a quick note of that actually, because I like it. Verbose function list. Thanks for the idea. Load project from config data. So this actually does the project loading. Okay. Exec project F, and these are the things that execute the project. Okay. Yes. By the way, why is this? Was this from me experimenting around with J? There we go. Alright, so I'm going to put this at the very bottom. And really one thing I want to do real quick is alright, there we go. There. Alright, I got my goal up over there. I want to section these off. Let me do this again real quick. Interpret escape string, breaker, open all files stuff, breaker, load project, breaker, execute fkey command, breaker. Okay. So we can pull up Scratch. And here we go. Just trying to organize code more with little things that help me sort of see sections of related content. I've discovered that's useful for me. So, basically it's useful for when I've forgotten how code works and I need to remember the organization of a file quickly. Alright, custom command sig, something like setup new project. And the first thing this might want to do is check if an existing project is already there. So, project available. So we'll need to implement that. Project available. Takes an application pointer. That's not implemented yet. Okay. So, supposing the project is available, wait, let's do it this way. If the project already is available, then return without doing anything. Or, better yet, let's do print a message. Project already exists, not overwriting. Return. There we go. Now we want to make a project and that does raise the question, should I return? Because I might want to make the script for a different file. Oh, this is going to be a bit tricky because I'll have to. So what I'm basically thinking about is if project config for different OS, but not this OS, try to duplicate in. Okay. So what we're going to want to do is break this up into, if the project is available at all, we'll do one thing, and if not, we'll do something else. So this creates it from scratch. If it is available, then we'll go and we'll do if the project is available this OS. Else, then we'll do the print message. Project already set up. No changes made. There we go. Okay, so now we'll leave this is not implemented for now. If project is set up, if the project is, wait, first I need to project is set up this OS, application links. So this one will tell me whether or not there's a project file. This one will tell me whether or not that project file has bindings for this current operating system. Different problems. Alright, so now if the project is not set up, then we're going to want to create a couple of files. So this is where things get very dependent on which operating system we're currently running. So we would create a build.bat or a build.sh, and then we would fill a project file in 3 different ways depending on the operating system. I think I'll do like this. And I need to find, yeah, I have it up here. Project setup Windows, project setup Linux, project setup Mac. Karifa brings up a good point. So his suggestion is just always build new projects as if it'll go to every operating system that's supported, which is a good idea. That way we don't have to do any of this. None of this has to be done. Thanks for the thought. That's much cleaner. Okay. So we'll just say if is the project set up or not. If it's not, we'll set it up for every operating system, and then that will be that. And that means we can just do it this way. First we're going to create a build.bat, so we'll call this, and I need to leave like a stop using standard io.h, switch to a buffer-based API for all file manipulation. Alright. I have a couple other spots where I'm already doing this kind of thing. In fact, I bet there's one earlier in this file already, isn't there? Or is there not, because I just I see. So in this one I'm passing the data in from outside so that it's not a problem. Alright. Now the problem is I need to make sure I'm opening it in the hot directory, so let me be a little bit more careful here. You know, I'm going to need to bring up my custom documentation real quick. Get hot. Okay, so let's see. Returns the size of the string written into the buffer. Okay, okay. So this will be something like string.memory size, string.string app, string.size equals string make fixed with string space. Let's just grab enough space that'll work. So we get the hot directory. Append onto their build.bat, and I'm going to want to save dir size. Save that for later, and then what we'll do is we'll push on what we need, add a null terminator, and then we can pass that to here. Okay. Now, if mat script does not equal 0, then we'll do all the things we need to do and then close it. And the things we need to do are just things like add echo off, new line. Let me pull up a build.bat example here. So we'll put in a double new line because that's how I tend to do it. And the very basic version would go like this: cl opt debug, and then we need a code file name, and then we need a output file name, and that will be the basis of our file. Alright, and more complicated stuff like the push data.build and stuff will be stuff you have to write in manually when you start getting fancy. But when I just want the project to exist, I don't really care that it sets it up in one way or another. I just want it to exist, and then I can fix up the scripts a little bit after that. if I'm making a more serious project where I use a build folder. Okay, so that's cool. And it raises this question of, do I have these? Now I probably want to do that like this. So before I go any farther, let me go and get those real quick. And that would be something like, let me compare that to default commands, 4coder commands. What is it? What is it? Base commands. Query user string. There we go. So I'm going to have two query bars. One is going to be called the code bar, code file bar. One is going to be called the binary file bar, and we're going to want code file space, binary file space, and then I'll fill out these with code file bar dot prompt. Come on. Jeez. Which will say name of build or build target. Code file bar dot string, make fixed with string on the code file space. The code or the binary file bar prompt will say make lit string by output, binary output. There we go. Binary file bar dot string, make a fixed width string on the binary file space. Do a couple of queries, so let me put in little notes here. Query. Did you guys just see a bug on the right hand side of the screen? I thought I saw one, but I can't be sure. It looked like it flashed. Alright, anyway, the point is, query the user for key names, key file names. There we go. And that's going to query for the code file bar, and then the binary file bar. Not a problem. I'll go through the archive and see if I can see it. I see it once in a while out of the corner of my eye. It looks like something flickering, and I can't tell if it's my imagination or if there's like a render bug or something, or like, I don't know. Ooh, good catch. As if Garner points out that these percentages need to be doubled up since they're inside of a format string. Yeah, good call, good call. Alright, could not create batch file. How about could not create build.bat for project. Okay. Anything else I need to do? Okay, code file and binary file, I want to pull those out, and right here we'll do generate scripts. Code file equals code file bar dot string, and there we go, the binary version. And then the other thing I need to do is right here. Just to be extra safe, I think I'm going to not make these use null termination. Okay. And there we go. Now let me get this working. So the other thing I want to do is just, we need to set build.bat. Are there any options I definitely would think everyone will agree on? No logo is a good one. GR minus. I know that this one is for exception handling. I forget what GR minus is for. And what I might want to do is I might want to have like a config option. So let me go back to Scratch. Pull default settings, compiler settings from a config file. For now, I'm just going to include no logo, and we'll say let's make this actually a thing we pull from config file next. Once the basics are done. Set debug equals zi, new line. Okay. Just double check everything. So we set the echo off, we set options and build up for me because I like to have those. We call CO with options, debug, the name of the code file that was provided, and then the name of the output file that was provided, and then the user will have to provide anything else. Okay. So there's the bat script. It's like the sh script. We'll have to do basically string.size equals dir size to reset it. And then we'll append onto the string a /build sh. And we'll terminate it with null. If sh script does not equal 0, else could not create build.sh for new project. Okay. So let me pull that one up and see how it looks. This one wants to start like this. And then, yeah, this is fairly complicated since it works for Linux and Mac, but we don't need to do any of this craziness that this script is doing. We just want to get to G++ execute. Now, this raises the question, do I want G++ or GCC to be the thing I call? I suppose that'll be another thing to pull from a config file, actually. For now, let's just do same thing I did before. Alright, so that should grab me my file names and put them into that line there. I need to set these still. And now I'm just setting them like this. Options. Are there any default options that I want? I'm not going to put anything in there by default. We'll just leave it blank. And there we go. That's cool. Final one. Will look kind of like this again, but now it's going to create project.4coder. And this one will look pretty different. Project 4coder. Extensions. I'm going to put in my default extensions here, and this is probably something we want to pull from a config file to .cpp.h.m.bad.sh.4coder. I realized I was printing the bat script just before Asif Gartner sent in the or just before I saw it from you. Actually, I just looked over and saw that you were mentioning that, and the lag was just such that I had already fixed it before I saw you say it. Okay, so we're gonna put in the extensions. We're going to put in the open recursively, put in an extra line there. Then we're going to put in one build command for each operating system. So fkey command 1, we'll call build.bat. That needs a quote there, and there. There and there. Yeah, so 1 build.bat. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I think that's the best way to do it. Okay. Linux build.sh compilation true. Whoops. Mac. I'm going to give each of these an extra new line afterwards too, to space it all out. Okay. So that should create a script with one of each. Oh, I hit more than I thought I hit. Is there anything else screwed up? Oh wow, a lot of this is screwed up. Okay. Application links. I accidentally sent everything to lowercase. So we're gonna have to just work our way through and fix all these. Partition. No, not two. Jeez. Partition. Yes. Wait, no, not you. Okay. Char in 32. Temp memory. Wait, no, don't do that. There we go. Let's see, where else did I screw everything up? Right here, I screwed everything up. Here is screwed up. Okay. Uh-oh, I didn't change my Twitch thing. That's what everyone's talking about. I get it now. I know what you're talking about, people. I'm not confused. I get it. I get it. I think if I change it now, like, it doesn't auto-update until I restart the stream or something. But, you know what? That's not my fault. I'm doing the best I can here. Okay. There. Yeah, I'll probably be streaming for, I don't know, maybe an hour or more, Abner. Should be fixed. If y'all refresh, if it's bugging you enough, it will now clearly not say Saturday. Kruifa, sorry if this is off topic, but if I recall correctly, I think in the past you explored using a C file build system, like writing your build file in C instead of .sh. I'm thinking about trying that out in order to try to build a framework in order to more easily reuse common things that I often do in build files, and also provide some platform. Did you decide that C file build wasn't the way to go? Kruifa, I still use the C file build. I'll show you guys a little bit because it's a bit neat. So here's the way it works. The only thing is you have to bootstrap off of something else, right? Because if your C file build is the way you build, you still want to be able to build this thing. And so I still can maintain a small script for each platform that just that builds and runs the build.cpp basically. And then the build.cpp, when it runs, can do all kinds of stuff. And then each of these scripts you can see I have like build.bat, build site, build string, package. All of those building scripts here, including the package, they're actually all calling to the same main build.bat or build.sh with a different build mode. And then the build mode determines what the build script will do. I'll show you the real build script, and the build script as in the build.cpp. And this is the real build.cpp. Now, if I was going to give you some advice about how this went for me and what you're going to run into, is it's a pretty large investment. The advantage you get is if you're doing stuff like what I'm doing, where I have like a package script that does a ton of complicated stuff, like it's moving files around, building it in x64 and then building it in x86 and then building it again but in super mode, so that there's like an alpha package and a super package, and then zipping those up separately, and then also zipping up a fifth package for the power tier that is the same across all platforms. So that's 5 different zips it has to create, and I have to do it on 3 different platforms now, so maintaining the different scripts for that was like, that's just not going to happen. But maintaining one script that does all of that is not that bad, as long as all the platforms can agree on what that one script is supposed to look like. And for the most part, that's what I've gotten to. But it takes some time. Just because you're building from a C or C++ like file instead of from a script does not mean everything works the same. You still have to call out different compilers. So like I have a thing that it's a bit ad hoc. I didn't make all of it as clean as you might like hope, because I wasn't trying to make a serious build system that covers all now and future uses. But rather what I have is like this series of flags here are the flags I might care about combining in different ways. So do I include debug info? Do I package an icon up with everything else? Do I turn optimizations on? Am I building superversion or not? Do I define these things? Is the logging enabled on this version build? And I have various places where I combine those flags in different ways. Those are my own personal flags. Like optimization and debug info dispatch out to the different like flags that might be different on different compilers. Things like internal or keep at assert are like just pound defines, but not really pound. They're like -d defines that are a little bit different between platforms. But I'm just, that's something I care about switching on a lot, so it's in my set of flags. But this could not be used to build anything other than 4coder. So if you went out to do that, you'd end up with something like make or something, which is available too. But I wanted something that was in a language I already knew. And so making like a big apparatus that can handle any build system is not quite feasible. But if you're willing to do a little bit of work to invest in wrapping all of the different things you're interested in for your particular project, then you can write something like this package function here, which is the real reason I needed this, like big time needed this, because you see this package script now loops over the various tiers, of which there are two major tiers, alpha and super, and then inside that loop it loops over the various architectures that I'm building for, which are where's the list of arcs? I believe that's an enum, yeah. So you can see here I have x64 and x86, and all this code runs on every platform. And there are certain things now that, like, clearing a folder, how you delete all the files in a particular folder, making a folder if it's missing. These are things that my script wants to do a lot, so I have a wrapper for that on every platform I build to. And then I have to maintain those wrappers, but then the script works the same everywhere. And in truth, these wrappers are very lightweight. Like, it's just calling to system, like the C call system, which launches a command that clears the folder. And then, with the exception of a few things, like in Windows, I use copy file the API rather than calling to system, because it just seemed to work a little better when I was setting up if I avoided doing command line commands in Windows over the Win32 API. So a few of these actually use Win32 API instead of system, but it still does the same thing, and that's the whole point. You can see I can do stuff like optionally include more logic in one of the tiers than the other. And so imagine if I was, maintaining this script in like batch or shell scripts, or even in make, I would have this sort of 2x2 set of builds that has a conditional on the tier right here, and different names I have to make for the zips and the directories, and so on and so on. It's just so much nicer to maintain all that with C code once you have that wrapper in place. So yes, I ended up sticking with it. It is a huge investment up front, but once you have it working reliably, it doesn't break all the time, really, I've found. Like, I can actually ship this to someone and they can build with it too. It actually works that way once you've invested the larger than expected amount of time to get it to that point. And then it doesn't require perpetual maintenance like a set of 3 scripts would. Okay, so that's our little side tangent on builds. Let's get back to the goals, my goals. So yeah, let's see if this works. well, one thing I have to do still is implement this. So what we want to do here is check if a file exists, and I don't know if the API has a good way to do that. In 4coder, I mean, I could make a file list and then see if it's in the file list, but that's the best I could. Ooh, file exists. Here we go. This parameter specifies the full path. If it need not be null terminated, this parameter specifies the length of the file name string. This call returns non-zero if and only if the file exists. Perfect. Perfect. If, well, what I'm going to do is we're going to get a different file exist for each. Alright, so I'll get the hot directory here because I want to ask I want to ask for that there. Why don't I just I don't like that. File exists. The options are either copy out of this into another temporary buffer here. Well, I'll allow them to specify a capacity, and then if the capacity is too small, let's see, project project dot 4coder 15. So yeah, that's what we'll do. Dir capacity is greater than or equal to dirlen plus 15. Then string equals make string cap dirlen dir capacity. String dir size string dot memory size. Else what we'll do is we will, let's see, I just need a temp memory temp equals begin temp global partition end temp memory temp space equals push array onto the global partition that dirlen plus 15 string equals make string cap space 0 dirlen plus 15 copy into the string the make string dirlen Okay. Now, either way, my string is in the same state. It's got the length of the directory, it's pointing to memory that looks at the directory, and it's got enough memory to push all three file names. Oh, I need a room for the slash. 16, 16, 16. That is something I should extra space. 16 needed extra space. Alright, so now I have a capacity that is equal to the capacity I need either way, and we're good. Okay, so it's in the same state through either path. I can then append onto that string various things. So we can append /build.bat, terminate it with null, and then we can ask string size. I guess I don't need space for a null terminator, do I? Because this is taking a size value anyway. Okay, so that tells me if the batch file exists. Now with each of these, what I want to do is set it back to the dirlen and then append a name, ask if it exists, and store the result. Project.4coder, project exists. And then finally, with all of those, everything exists equals, that's what we get when this and this and this. Okay. Now, instead of just calling that right there, we have to do status. If not, status dot everything exists. If everything does exist, project already set up, no changes made. Great. Otherwise, we will ask for that info's there if status dot exists or not. If one of those two is missing, then we can ask for that information. Actually, I take it back. Let's ask for that information no matter what. And down here I'm going to add a second thing for each of these. So no new line. We're going to put in a 2. This is going to be for our run. Run false true. Binary file size, binary file string. Okay. So that lets you leave it in. Alright, so this lets you also include a run right away. Binary file size, so this is Linux, where we will just need an additional / to work. And then there we go. And the same thing happens on Mac. Okay, cool. Now, the idea is going to be only do this if status dot bat exists. and again. SH exists, and again. Project exists. Yeah, Kriva, so what I was thinking was, I agree with what you're saying there. I was thinking maybe for the queries that I would only do the queries if I needed the info, but it looks like the only one I could get rid of is possibly, like, the project file doesn't actually need to know about the code file, so in theory I could do something like this. If not status bad exists or not status sh exists. So if we're missing either of those, it'll still ask for what code file to build. But if it's got both of the build scripts and it's just missing a project file, it will actually skip that and just because it doesn't do anything with that information. So that should be good. Everything but the config stuff is ready to go now. I'd like to stop and test this out. So let's do that. First, does it build? We still got to deal with this nonsense. If it's not clear what happened here, I accidentally hit, I have a command, I was looking for Control-Shift-I to do this, and I hit Control-J, which is nearby, and I was experimenting looking for it, and that's the two lowercase command, and it must have hit a large portion of the file, because a lot of stuff got screwed up. Right. I need to do literal, because that needs to take a size. And the literal macro expands a literal string to have a size right next to it. Super. Okay. So it's building. Let's go ahead and try it out. .4022, here it is. Let me navigate to a folder where I can do this. Where could I do this? Users. Not sure. Actually, give me a second to go and pick a folder. Or make one that will be appropriate. Okay, here's an appropriate one. Let's go to the wave function collapse code. So the first thing I need to do is, I realize there's already a build.bat in here. So we're going to start by, I'm going to rename that so that we can test it in its most basic form where it creates everything. Perfect. Next, I'm going to shut everything down because I've just realized that I didn't bind the command to anything yet. Alright, so this should work in global. You know, I'm not going to bind it directly to something actually. I'm going to put it in the exec command list. New project, exec command app, set up new project. There we go. Alright, now can I make a new project? Build target, it asks. The build target is wfc.c. Binary output slash that's not gonna work. Let's just call it WFC again for now. Alright, let's take a look at these. Okay, that loaded everything but the SH. What's going on there? And the 4coder. Whoa. It's not opening that file. Okay. Yeah, you can do up to well, it doesn't really mean anything to have them open at the same time because you could just close one and then start the next one. Like you could do one, get this string, copy it out, start another one, or even have like 10 bars and then close each, call the close bar function, but keep the bar in your stack so you've still got the memory. But it does support like up to 8 active bars at the same time. There's not really any good reason to do it except that you want to keep that information, like you want to see both of them at the same time, because if you don't keep them both you can't see the previous ones you typed in. Yeah. Alright, so that's build real. What about build? Okay, build.bat is good. WFC.c is good. Why can't we... You loaded the project correctly. If I did this... Wait a minute, you didn't load the project correctly? What went wrong here? I don't see that you loaded the project. Weird. Weird. So you see the file, but you won't open it. Some kind of weirdness going on here. Oh, it's empty. That's not good. I know what happened. Alright. So 2 things. 1, why doesn't 4coder open empty files? 2, why are these files empty? The second one I have an answer to. But once I fix this, I need to create an empty file and get it to open. Because that's not cool. I suspect I know where that's happening too. C code new project build target wfc.c binary output wfc. Cool. Load the project, and there we go. Loaded everything. So now if I hit F1, hey, all right. So it's setting up. It's setting up correctly. F2. It's running. That's cool. Must have been doing sampling when I ended, or profiling. Alright, so that is useful. I'm going to shut down now. We're going to close out all the files that just got created again. So I can now create a new project on the fly pretty easily, which is cool. Now, the next thing that I need to be able to do is open empty files, and then I want to be able to specify by a configuration file special things like don't dump the build file here, dump it in a different place, so that, like what just happened where I get spammed by Visual Studio's like 5 different temporary intermediate files, doesn't happen, and so that if you have your code in Git or something and you hit build, you're not putting a binary and a bunch of other binary like intermediates into your Git repository. So that's the goals. But first, side quest. Why can't I open empty files? Let me create an empty file real quick. Empty file test. I'm going to put this in 4ed code, no, 4ed data test. Yeah, okay. And now we want to find out why 4coder doesn't open it. Empty file. Okay, it did open it. Weird. So does that mean suppose I made another one and it was called empty file dot 4coder. Would you treat it differently? Actually, do I have a project file in here already? No. Okay, what if I called this project.4coder? Yeah, it can open the empty file. So what's different? What's different is there was still a handle for it. So the problem wasn't just that I couldn't open empty files. It was that my 4coder over here, the one that made it. Wait, no, that's not true. No, this one. Okay, the one that made it was this one. If that one opens the handle, starts writing to it, but never closes it, then it shows an empty file there, but 4coder can't open it because it's still already opened in a different handle. I see. Okay, not a bug. Just a failure to, like, properly notify me about why things failed to open, which is already an issue that I need to deal with. Alright, so empty file situation handled. Next up, we want to deal with the config stuff. So let's take a moment to think about how to expand that goal out a little bit. So what do we want to be able to do in the config file? I want to be able to set per OS options for new projects. I want to be able to set per OS. No, I don't really want to be able to do this in the config file. This is just this. This is kind of separate. I want to be able to somehow say use an output directory and then have it automatically do the push D stuff. In order for that to be possible, it would have to look at the folder we're currently in. And really, I would want to be able to create a build folder if I was going to do that. And furthermore, I'd want to be able to... You know what? I'm going to put this off for now. I think once I have the ability to programmatically create folders, it'll make more sense to deal with the build folder stuff. Because I really want to be able to do is create a folder, and then in that folder say make a new project and have it generate out a code folder and a build folder into that folder that I'm in. At least that's the way I would want it to work for me, which is kind of, as I said, these are a little bit specialized for me. So that would be the preferable way to do it. I'll put it off for now because we don't quite have the the firepower to make it happen in the API yet. But we can work on this one. So let's pull up my config file real quick, or the config file that goes out the door. Project setup configuration. Default flags Windows. Win equals, okay, yep, this is not that complicated. We're going to do it like this. I just want to make sure I make it match the naming scheme used by a project file. Win Linux Mac, good. And then that'll include things like whatever I want, right? And so let's make, you know what, that's not quite going to work. So we're going to actually say for the batch file and for the shell script file, because I can't separate out Windows and Linux, or Linux and Mac that easily. Unless I pass them in through the project file, but that would make for really long project lines. I'm going to leave it like this for now. I don't want to make it complicated. I just want to generate it into the file the easy way. So let me get some project commands, the no logo. Yeah, we're going to take you out. You're going to use default flags bat.size, default flags bat.string. And then the shell script will also do this for a file for a string called default flags sh. Okay. Then all I have to do is go to the framework file where I make these globals that communicate across various systems, particularly between the config file and everything else. Where are you at? Where are you at? I know you're around here somewhere. Config lexer. There we go. Static string default flags bat equals make fixed with string. Do it again for sh. Char default flags bat space. I'm going to give you 1024 characters for that space because that could get pretty long. Might even be too short anyway. We'll find out someday. There we go. And now we're almost done, believe it or not. All I have to do now is come down here and when everything else is going on. Config string var item default flags bat 0 default flags bat sh, and there we go. That should do it. So let me add some stuff here to test that. No logo. What else do I put in a build.bat often? I personally would like to put in the gr minus and the eha minus to take out, I forget what gr is, but eha is definitely exceptions. I should go remind myself real quick. Did I say we'll find out someday? Did I say that? I don't remember saying that. Actually, I do remember saying it. I don't remember what I said it about. Actually, what I want is like CL gr minus flag. Runtime type information. So that's disabling runtime type information. Yep, that's a good one. That's a good one. Cool. Okay. Ah, that's right. I said we'll find out someday. As in when it's too small, we'll find out that it was too small. That's right. That's what I was saying. I also forget what minus FC does, but I remember that one being good too. No, not like that. Give me the CLFC flag. CL compiler FC flag. Ah, full paths. That's right. That's right. I remember now. That's a good one. 4coder kind of needs that for it to work. So we'll put that in by default, and you can take it out if you don't like it. I think I'll leave everything else that I put in off, because this is the one that gets shipped to everybody. Now with the shell script we have a bit of a problem, which is that we actually kind of want to do this code home thing. Which is not simple to do on Linux and Windows, or Linux and Mac. Code home is not simple. I could just dump all that code right into the shell script that I generate. That's what I would want. Because I need that for the shell script to use the full path to the file so that all the errors use full path, because they don't have a full path flag like Windows compiler does. Or at least not one I've ever found. But in addition to that, are there any other flags? These are like warning related flags. I'm going to say no default flags for this one, but we do need to figure out. So this gives me the real PWD. I forget what that means. Restore the PWD. Parent working directory. Physical working directory. Something like this. One problem with this is if I put it in, it doesn't handle loops in symbolic directory links. Krifa, yeah, I have a lot of spots in the customization code that just assume like 512 or 1024 or 4096 bytes will be enough. and statically allocate right there on the stack or in like global memory. I didn't do that for clipboard. I decided to get clipboard right off the bat, which was I think a wise choice, because it's the kind of thing that going back and putting those things in later is just a boring pain. But I tend to try to limit that kind of hack to places where the code I'm writing I know is not the final version of the code, or the code I'm writing is like in a public facing portion of the project. So like if it's in the custom layer, I'll do that all the time, because if someone hits the limit, I can just tell them to recompile with a bigger number there, right? If it's a private portion of the code, I kind of try to make it like bulletproof if I can. Now, with that in mind, I think I'll go ahead and do this heinous code home thing in the auto-generated shell scripts, because it's the only way I know to get full paths to the code file, and without full paths I don't get correct error messages that I can jump to. You know, I guess what I could do someday is, when I run a build, try to figure out the working directory that build ran in, so that I can work out the paths manually from there. That would be good. How would I do something like that? That would be a someday thing, not a today thing. But what would I do to do that? Because the problem is, yes, I could know the directory I ran the script in, but the script doesn't necessarily build the program in the directory it ran in. It could have changed directory. I would somehow... it would be nice if there was a flag that just printed full directories, man. Well, I'm going to do this for now. I'm like ET right here. I got a code home. It seems in my head I'm thinking I have to code home. Karifa, what I'm getting at is not whether or not to use push and pop, because push and pop would also have the same problem. The point is, once the script is run, it's not about where it is when it ends. It's about where the current working directory is when the build happens, when the G++ call happens. That reminds me, I do want to put one other thing in the config file. We'll have to do that still. Because I don't care if it changed the directory before the file ends, and besides, even if I did for myself say always use pushdpopd, I'm saying I want it to work for anybody's script. So I can't just say you have to use pushdpopd. I want them to be able to use change directory and then figure out the directory they ran in anyway. But I don't know how I would do that. The best I could hope for is to like pattern match and try to look at these files that I'm seeing, do any of like where is likely the root directory to all these files, which would be a bit tricky. So I just need to write the get code home code up here real quick. Alright, so store the real CDW, new line. Real PDW equals PDW. New line, new line. Find the code home folder. And here we go. Doot 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 doot. Doot 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 doot. Doot. I think I got everything. I think I got everything. That is okay. So get the code home. Once we get the code home, we can use it when we make this call here. Code home slash. Alright, so now whatever file I ask to build, I'm asking to build it from the point of view of this directory here. And this just goes to show you that what I really ought to do that would fix the build thing altogether is say, look, for the purposes of the batch script, what you gotta do is, let's see, it's somewhere in my string, replace char. I want you to go through the code file and replace forward slashes with backslashes, and then when you're done, fix that change. Yeah. Ooh, what went wrong here? Default flags, but missed a comma. went wrong here? You didn't put backslashes on those quotes there, so everything is wrong. There we go. So now I just need to go back to the config real quick, and yeah, this default compiler sh, that needs to go to here. Default, so flags get replaced with compiler. I might as well include the same thing for the batch file while I'm at it. I mean, some people might be building with Clang or something, who knows, so there we go. I'm going to take the debug stuff out, and then I'll just put it in right here. zi -g. That's probably better. Compiler sh, compiler bat. Okay, flags bat. Flags with compiler. Flags with compiler. 1024 is way too many for that. I'm gonna drop that all the way down to 128. I don't know the name of a single compiler that would, unless they're giving the full path to the compiler, I guess. I'll give them 512. Yeah, I'll give them 256. We'll meet in the middle there, right? Okay. So now I can yes, now I just need to go back to project commands one more time, and when I'm specifying which compiler to put in these, I need to do it this way so that I can go default compiler sh size string sh with bat. Great. Okay, and now I'm going to test this one more time. So we're going to go over to the wave function collapse folder, and we're going to do new project. The build target is wfc.c. The binary output is w:/build/wfc. And now, if I load the project, I've got everything open. If I build it, CI. What went wrong here? Okay. Good. Let me take out the debug stuff while I'm here, because I forgot about that. Okay. Okay. Now go to the framework, compiler. Yeah. Default flags, bat, okay. So I guess that raises the question, what was exactly in the wfc build.bat? Interesting. Default compiler bat, default compiler bat, default compiler bat. It should have said CL. right? Default compiler bat. Any ideas why it didn't say that? Default compiler bat space flag space compiler sh space. Those are all separate and on their own little tracks. Grieva, yeah, that's probably a good idea. I should put in some safety features like that at some point for sure. I'm a bit confused why this didn't work out. Let me try clearing out the new stuff again, and then just take a look. I load the project. Show me what's in build.bat. That's not right. That shouldn't be there. Okay, I have an assumption. I'm assuming that I'm actually running the right build. Okay, so now it's getting worse. I know what's happening. I know what is happening. So what is happening is these need default values first of all. Okay. So the problem here, I'm pretty sure, is that the config file I'm editing is not the one that this is loading. I'm pretty sure. So we're going to test that hypothesis here. Load the project, build.bat, and there it is. So, with that confirmed, I am now able to go fix the problem by visiting 4edcode No, for a data test config 4coder. Very good. Put you there. And now we should be able to do, whoops, this. New project, wfc.c/build/wfc, load the project, switch to my build.bat, and there we go. Now it's outputting right there. It is using all those flags from the config file, and it's using the compiler from the config file. Let's try building it. Let's try running it. It's not. Okay, so the question is, why didn't the backslash conversion happen? Project commands. Yeah, I told it to convert forward slashes into backward slashes on the code file. Ah, that's the wrong. Okay, I have to do it on binary file to get the results I want, but I really probably should do both, so I'll leave it that way. There we go. Try that again. Okay. So that didn't quite do what I wanted with the build location, so I still have to do a pushd, popd when I generate the scripts. And sometime in the future, but again, not today. Not quite appropriate, I don't think. Actually, I could pretty easily make that another config option. I don't want to push this all day long. I want to wrap up, so I'm going to leave it for now, and we'll say that's a feature that should get added soon. Or you know what? No, let's do completeness. Let's default push. Project builder equals ... /build, right? No, not like that. That's not good. I'll just add another query bar. Okay, so here's the situation. We had two bugs to fix, or a bug to fix and a feature to add. So what was it? Oh, I don't have bugs to fix. The other thing I want to do is testing the partial project setup stuff, but yeah, you stay there, you go there, you go there. Okay, so the other thing I want to make sure I check is that the scripts here are working. I'll have to do that on a different computer at a different time. But that right there should allow the 4coder error jumps to work. And because it's so important for 4coders' particular behavior, I'm going to put that earlier on. Okay. The other thing I want is Let's do this third query bar thing. Basically these again. Instead of binary, we're talking about output dir bar, output dir space, okay, so then you can put in dot dot slash build and okay. Only problem with that is if it does a push D there, it'll have to know the folder in which the code existed to get back to it, unless I find the full path like I did on Linux, on the shell script, because on the shell script this won't be a problem. That's what I'll have to do. I'm going to ask for the current working directory of the current. Yeah, that shouldn't be a problem. Now, why is it that I can't do code home? Why doesn't the current working directory by itself work on Linux? What is the difference? Oh, the current working directory is not necessarily where that script runs from. That could be simplified. I'm going to put it off for now, but I think that can be simplified. Okay, that's what we're going to do though. So we're going to have to come down here and output directory, okay. And let's see, where am I at on time? Let's get done before the end of, before the beginning of 1 p.m., before 1 o'clock comes around, so 20 minutes. Output directory, there we go. We set that thing, and then we're going to fprintf batch script pushd dot star s output dir size, output dir string, fprintf bat script popd. Same thing here, literally the same this time, no changes at all, and those need new lines. Okay, so now I can push D and pop D to the correct place, and the code home there will already be correct. The only thing stopping this from working is that the code home up here is not correct, because there is no code home, which, you know, existing is a prerequisite to having been constructed correctly. So let's set code home right here real quick, if we can. I'm gonna have to look that up. Batch script current directory. And the way the 4coder project system, project system works is whenever you run a command, it always sets the current working directory to the directory where the project, that 4coder file existed. Yeah, UFeelBrain asks, is there or will there be a way to list all loaded buffers? I currently have to kill the current one or locate the one I'm looking for. Yeah, so the default binding is Control-I. It brings up the switch thing. This is a list of all the buffers that are open. And this way you don't have to navigate to the file's position every time you want to get to it or kill it. Yeah. Or kill the one you're on and hope you find the one you're looking for. Yep. Glad I could help. Alright. So hopefully, if I put current directory there, I get code home, and that will then get written there. Hopefully. Output dir. Right, I need the extra string here. Percent dot star s, percent dot star s, percent dot star s, percent. These should be fine. Oh, backslash. Bat script. Undeclared identifier. Sorry. Okay, let's see if that works. So we navigate to the wave function collapse code, we create a new project, the new project build target is wfc.c, the output directory is /build, the binary output is wfc, and now I come back, I load the project. So one thing 4coder doesn't do very well, as you can see, is when I create new files, it doesn't automatically reload that list there. And with this new feature, actually adding files sort of silently, so the rest of the API can't see it, it becomes a problem. So one thing I might want to do in the future, just thinking out loud right now, is put a listener on the current working directory that tells me if new files are added, so that I can get a notification about that. Hey, earned places. Hello. Alright, so we've loaded this. Let me just double check that build.bat looks correct. Ooh, that says 0D. That's not right. That's not going to do anything. Yeah, okay. Go up. Let's leave. Why does that say 0D instead of CD? Yep. Okay. Very good. WFC code. Now I need to just quickly delete all that new stuff real quick. Doot. Alright, and let's try this again. Code, new project, build wfc.c, output to /build, binary output wfc. Load the project, look at build.bat. Okay, that looks correct now. Hey, it ran. Okay. Now, can I run the build? Exited with code 0. So what went wrong? What went wrong was that it doesn't know where to find Yeah, it doesn't know where to find that. 'Cause if I go to project.4coder, yeah, it's still saying that it's doing a run by a WFC, and that's wrong. Okay, that's good. Okay, so to fix that is not a crazy problem. One thing I do want to do is I want to say if on this one they return a size of 0, that's fine. Let's just let's not actually kill it then. Instead, let's just say copy into that string a /, right? So that them not typing anything is the same as saying current directory. Now, what we can do, which would be kind of cool, is, well, not /, just dot, right? Because I need the slash to be added manually. So we're gonna do output dir dot size, output dir dot string, and again here percent dot star s, and again here, whoops, percent dot star s //. All right, let's see where we are now. Okay, back to WFC, code, new project, build wfc.c, put it into /build, and the binary output should be WFC. Okay, load the project. I might want to have like new project and load, or load new project, some kind of other command that just does the load automatically, just to save that extra 5 seconds while I'm here. And now let me check out what happens if I build. It works. If I run, it's not recognized as an internal or external. What's going wrong? What's going wrong? Project.4coder. Oh, it's using a /. So the problem is I need to convert again. Yeah, okay. We can do that. So what I'm actually going to do is say, let's grab this, double copy, ready for this, double paste coming in, paste 1, paste 2. Wait, no, paste 2, there we go. And yeah, that should do it. I accidentally did the top one twice. But that should do it. And again, WFC, code, new project. Oh! What happened? Project already set up, no changes made. Well, we tested that, that's good. And if I delete everything, and I go new project, wfc.c, /build, WFC, and then I load the project, and I run it, and I run it, /WFC is not recognized. Why are you asking for /WFC? It should be /build/WFC. That's not a problem for you. How'd you get that idea? Backslashes. Ah, darn backslashes. Okay, I get it. I get it. So what we need is to leave, and this is tricky. Ooh, this is tricky. but I have to replace every backslash with a double backslash. So this, first of all, has to be a double backslash. But not just that. Every forward slash has to become a double backslash here. And that's not really a replace char. Does string have replace string? It does not. Okay, folks, options. I could implement replace string, in which case I would be replacing the forward slash with a double backslash, and then the double backslash back to a forward slash. That would involve running the string build, which is a totally big diversion and a bit time consuming. Not because the build is slow, but because I don't remember how to do it. Besides the fact that it's on F3, which might be all I need to know. And I don't see any option at all besides that. I don't see one single other way to do this. I mean, I could do it in place for all three strings, but that's the same thing. I might as well do it in the string library if I'm going to do it. The other option is that I do it there after I've fprinted and closed it, and then reopen it and implement it, or I build that string there and do it once. I would have to do it on that string too? No, I wouldn't. Okay. Let's just do replace string. We'll just implement that. Okay, now I have to go to the internal string, replace char, replace string, char star replace with, and a part of the reason this is ugly is that really, if I was doing this correctly, I would have to do the CC and the SS versions at least, possibly even a CS and SC version. But I'm going to start by just doing the CC version, setting its C++ name to replace string. I'm going to leave it undocumented for now. I'll write doc strings before I release this, but I'm just not in the mood. I'll make that a launch day task that I do off stream. Karifa proposes an interesting idea, which is maybe the thing you do to try to do a build should create the project, which is feasible. The problem is, the way I do builds now is using those F key commands that are bound to the project. So the only way this would actually work is if you hit an F key command and you hadn't already loaded a project. It would then check to see if there was a project available in the current working in the hot directory. If there was, it would load it and then run, and if there wasn't, it would prompt you to make one, which is kind of a cool idea. I might do that, but I'm going to put it off for now because there are unanswered questions about how exactly that would work out. The other thing is, once you've loaded a project, even if you change your directory, you've still loaded it, so you would have to dump a project before that would work. which is maybe not a problem. Like, you just keep in mind, alright, I've already loaded a project, so I can't just hit a key and have it auto figure it out for me. But the idea of being able to hit F1 and it goes, hey, no project is loaded, therefore let me do this extra work of looking for a project or making one if I can't find it. That's not a bad idea. But I'm not doing that today. That's a separate but good idea. Okay, so what we want right now is I want to get this done quickly and cheaply. So I'm going to go to string.h and look at my options. Everything before replace char is on the table. Find cchar, find substr c. So what I'm going to do is we're looking for a certain substring. We'll take a string r equals make string slowly replace with string w replace string ss. String rw replace string ss looks like this. String replace string with and these other ones, they take an sc string replace and a cs whoops dupe with dupe. Okay, so I'll just defer to this one, which doesn't have to do any of that. And what it will do is it will find a substring. So it'll go I32 for tech I equals 0. Find substring s. Find it in this string, starting from I, and going to find replace. If you find it, let me check the docs real quick. Find substring s. This call returns the index of the first occurrence of the seek substring in str or the size of str if no such substring in str is found. Okay, so what we'll do is that. I think we're going to want that like this. Okay, if I equals greater than or equal to string size, then break. We're done. Otherwise, I want you to okay, what we're going to do is we're going to take do something called insert, which is not currently implemented, or replace range even. String, we're going to replace the range from I to I plus replace dot size with this. And I will just implement that without exporting it for now, because I'm not even ready to think about whether that should be in the API. But it would look something like this. First, last, string width, and we would go, okay, I32 new size equals the current size minus last minus first. That's the range of things we're deleting. This should be 1 past last minus first plus the length of width. If new size is less than string memory size or equal to it, then we will proceed. Otherwise, we'll just ignore this request. Okay. When we proceed, what we're going to do is new size, less than equal to memory size. Tail equals string plus 1 past last. Char star new tail position equals tail minus 1 past last minus first plus width dot size. So what this basically is again that up there. So we're going to call this the shift, and the shift is called the shift because it's how much the end of the thing is shifting, how much the tail is shifting around by. If the tail is shifting by a positive amount, we're growing. If it's shifting by a negative amount, we're shrinking. Now we gotta be careful because this was a minus here, so that's gotta look like that. That's gotta look like that. So positive amount gets bigger, negative amount gets smaller, and it's positive if the new size. Okay, yep. And what'll happen is if this all happens if shift does not equal 0. We do that, and then we do mem move into the new tail position from the tail, and then we just need to know the size of the tail. That's just string size minus 1 past last. Is that right? 1 past last. If I'm replacing the 3rd, 4th, and 5th characters, that's indexes 2, 3, 4. 1 past last would be 5. If my length is 10, 10 minus 5 would give me 5, which is the number of characters. Let's see. 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 5 more characters. That's right. Okay. So we move the tail to where it needs to go, and then we move with dot. Now, am I using mem move in other places around here? No. What do I use for that? Do I use mem copy? Do I use string.h at all? No. Okay, so what I have to do is going to be worse than this because I can't use mem move, but let me get this working first. So then I'm going to mem move into string first with dot string with dot size. Okay, now I'm going to call this block move. A putter, A for B, and then if A is less than B, else if A is greater than B. Okay, so if A is less than B, then what we want to do is move, we're moving from B into A. We want to take the small side of B first, because that means we will be moving the characters to a spot that's outside of B all the time. So that's the easy one. That's just I32, I equals 0, I is less than S, plus plus I, plus plus A, plus plus B, A equals B. The other one's a little bit confusing because it starts at I equals S. Well, it does the same thing there. It does a minus minus for here and here, and so those have to be A equals A plus S minus 1, A to B. Is this right? Yes, we'll end one before the actual thing, but we won't write to it then. And if we wanted to be super ridiculous, what we could do, yeah, I'll let the compiler figure it out. So there we go, that does a block move from B into A, and it should be directionally safe if they're overlapping. Okay, so I need to run the string build. Okay, so there's the string build. Now I have to do this weird thing. I remember now how this works. I have to go to the string yes, these were just generated right now. Show me the preview on that real quick. Yep, that's the one I want. So now what I have to do is I have to come over here to code 4coder lib. I'm going to save the old string. This is something I have not yet properly automated. This process of basically what happens is I don't want to copy the 4coder string file right in, because if I build the 4coder string file and copy it right into the main source tree and it doesn't compile or it has a bug, then like all of the meta programming stuff, including the build file itself, stop working. So I have to always have a working string thing, which means that what I do is I save the old file for the string library, and then I check and see if everything's working, and if it is, I delete the old one and I'm good. If it's not, I delete the new one and return to the old one. But what I really want to have is an automatic verification thing that basically is like, make sure the new string file builds, make sure it doesn't have any bugs, and if both of those things are true, like automatically copied into the source string, or to the source tree. But there we go, I should have replace strings now, which is good. And if I build, yep, here's where things become bad. Why is this a bug? Oh, right, so there we go. That's one of the things that doesn't make sense. That should be automatically getting handled, and it's not. Where's the standard preamble? That's supposed to get auto-copied in here, and it's not. I haven't debugged it yet. You still don't know about I-32. How is that possible? I literally just put it in here. I don't remember what goes wrong when there's always this problem with updating the string library. I can't remember why. Oh, those say 4ed. Why do they say 4ed? That's wrong too. At least in here that says Fortech everywhere. Okay. Now this is where things get bad, because I can't change that directly. I have to go over here, replace string CS with, were there any other compilation problems that you were worried about? Okay, let me try this again. There we go. So now it's built again. Let me go and get the file. Still not happy about that, but that's just because I have to get the preamble in there again, because the auto generator doesn't do its job. What's going on? I just told it to change this. Yo, internal, what's going on here? Did I only change it here and not in... that's what happened. Come on. Okay, so the problem here is that I don't remember how anything works. If not defined, F string guard, that's what I need. Okay, let's try again. Build the string library. Grab it. Code. 4coder string. Preamble. Gotta get that fixed. So stupid. Build again. Hey, I upgraded the string library with one new function of 4 overloads. Okay. Whew. So with that in place, we can go back to here. Now hopefully it's working. Let's try it over here. By the way, let me check the chat real quick. Nothing new? Alright. On we go. Back to the wave function collapse code. All of those are still there. Let me clear that out real quick. Project, build, go away. Alright, code, new project, build wfc.c, build it in /build, build the w, call it wfc, there we go, load the project, build it, run it. The system cannot find the path specified. Alright, what's going on? Bill, I called it Bill. Furthermore, something went wrong with the placement. Back to single slash. We'll have to debug that. But 4coder project commands. Okay, here we go. Back up, WFC, let me delete these, project build, delete, code, new project, wfc.c, /build, wfc. Alright, now here's what I want to see, in particular this one. Yes. Make both of those into make strings, good. I find the first occurrence, it happens at 2. Is that greater than or equal to string size? No. Okay, so there's one bug right there, is I have to move I to the end of the string after I replace it. Replace range. First, one past last. Shift equals 1, new size equals 9, plenty of space. Shift is 9 equals 0, tail, new tail, so it's moving everything over by 1. That works, right? So let me see, string dot slash build, but now I can put in a backslash there. Oh, I didn't update the string size either. That's where the build comes from. Okay, understood. So, internal 4coder string. You got two bugs there. One is, when we're doing replace range, after the fact, we need to do string size plus equals the shift. And after that, what we need to do is I plus equals width size. So we do a replacement and we put in 2 characters, and we're sitting there at like 3 or whatever, and then we go, okay, I need to put in 2 characters, so I'm at 5, which is 1 past the end, and so start from there when you find the next substring. Okay. Rebuild the string library. String code 4coder string preamble. Let me just copy this guy's preamble and then reload and paste his preamble in. There we go. Hey, no trouble this time. Alright, so we got the string upgrade in place. Let me run. Try this again. WFC code new project wfc.c // build wfc, and let me look in here. I just want to see how this goes. So we find one at 2. After we replace it, we move to 4. And the string now says it has a length of 9 with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Alright, it's correct. It then goes there. Nope, can't find any more. Done, done, done. Does that for all of these guys. So now we have wfc // build and wfc.c. We print out all of that. We switch them back. Now it says 8. Okay, with build. Okay, good. There we go. I now load the project. I run it, or I compile it, and I run it. Yes! Everything works. So we now have the ability to set an output directory that is separate from the code directory for this little thing. And yeah, my code directory is not spammed with crap. Now, I want to try deleting little bits and pieces of this and then recreating it and seeing what happens. So I'm going to delete project.4coder and nothing else. Over here we're going to pull up messages and we're going to see what happens when I do new project. And it says, what's your output directory? Well, my output directory is going to be / build with my binary output wfc. And there we go. I got a new project file. There we go. So that worked. Let's say I made changes here and here. That I could identify. And I would like to ask the question, why don't I see... I didn't put messages in for that. Okay. I'm adding in more messages for when the files don't get replaced intentionally. Alright, so I have changes in place. Take project out again, and when we come back to running that again, we'll see if I get the messages. Build.bat already exists. No changes made to it. Build.sh already exists. No changes made to it. And project.4coder already exists. No changes made to it. Okay. So now, with just the project folder missing and all the other ones in place, when I do new project, well, hold on, let me look at messages I want to watch. When I do new project, it should go, what's your output directory? And I go /build. And it goes, what's your binary output? And I say, oh, it's WFC. It goes, okay. And it says these already exist, I have to put new lines on them, but let's just double check that it's telling the truth. Yep, those were left unchanged. Alright, I am satisfied that we have this thing under control. So I'm going to wrap this up now, return the WFC to the way it was before. We're going to go put in the new line messages here, or the new lines into the messages, like so, and like so. And that is it. That's all I've got to do for now. So I'm going to wrap the stream up here. I'll take 1 minute to look at the chat in case anyone's got any final questions or thoughts or comments before I wrap it up. Thanks for coming out and checking it out, Krifa. Hope you didn't sacrifice your own productivity too much to hang out. Let's see. Alright, I'm gonna wrap it up. Thank you everybody who came and saw some or all of the stream. I'll be streaming more this month. It's 4coder November, so see you later. Bye bye.